What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of the pregame.
Yeah. So last time I would.
That's true, you did.
I don't know how to respond, but on today's episode, we definitely wanted to talk about why it's called the pregame.
Kind of random for a nomad life, remote lifestyle podcast, and it's called the pre. So let us connect those dots for you.
Yeah, so basically we love to talk and we love to drink, and I feel like that's really why. Like, we just want to sit down, have a conversation before we go out, go down memory lane. Obviously, a lot of our last year was the nomad lifestyle. That's not all we'll talk about, but it's definitely going to be the first few episodes, just kind of take you through each city and then a bunch of different topics.
So, so we're drinking. We're what?
Cheers.
Cheers. We're drinking gin tonight. So this is like I never drank gin ever. And then about a year ago for some reason?
Yeah, it was when we went to Palomar Mountain.
You know what it really was though? It was one of your friends bought a big bottle of gin.
After.
Left it, and we're just like, well, it's fucking here. Of course we're going to drink it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, holy shit, this is pretty smooth.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be closer to vodka, and I'm really glad it's not, because I hate vodka. But that's maybe why you like it, right?
Yeah, I love vodka. I like things with no taste, which is so weird that you're like, I hate the thing that doesn't have, it has the least bite out of all the liquors.
Yeah, because it fucks me up. Like, vodka's every time I drink.
I still don't hear a problem, so what are you talking about?
True.
Yeah,
true.
There you go.
Drinking gin. So we're going to talk about our first city that we went to on our nomad lifestyle of 2021, which was Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Interesting city, right? Especially for the first one. It is peculiar. Even when I think back, it's like, why did we pick Portland, Oregon?
Yeah. So first off, we didn't want to go mainstream and pick Seattle, right?
Sure. Yeah. I think because that is a literal bigger city.
Yeah.
It's further too.
Two, we were like, okay, we're not doing Mexico. Scratch that.
Right.
Let's do a West Coast winter city.
Well.
But we looked at the map for Denver, and it was just like baby blue was not gonna make it.
And then we were still kind of worried about even driving up the coast to Portland because California is geographically crazy. Like it's snow, no snow, maybe whatever. But I mean, it was fine. The drive,
tsunamis.
Yeah, tsunamis, earthquakes.
Roads are closed. Fires.
God wants to just wipe out California for some reason.
Yeah.
So, why did we pick it? I mean, I feel like it was just, maybe I initially just said it because I worked with a lot of people in LA, and we were also just like, okay, what's colder? You know, because it was literally a year ago, FYI. 1 year ago is when we started this journey. Yeah. Which is kind of surreal to think about right now. Yeah. Because that feels
end of February.
10 years ago, to be honest, at this point.
We did a lot.
Yeah. And so... yeah, we just marked that down first, right?
Yeah, I think we also want to touch on, so our cars are on different sides of the country, right? Yeah. So it's like we're also trying to plan, like, okay, Will's going to fly to LA. We're going to road trip to a city. Yes. What city do we want to start with on the West Coast?
That's that's not going to kill us.
Right. No snow, no Mexico.
And we chose an easy 15-hour road trip off the bat.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man.
Oof, I'm so over road trips.
Oh, so over it. But we can honestly say that road trip was the best.
I think so.
The West Coast and going to the Pacific North. So going from Southern California up to the Pacific Northwest is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't
miss. Seeing signs for things I just wanted to pull over, right? Like Shasta Lake.
Shasta Lake, out of nowhere.
That was insanely gorgeous.
Insanely gorgeous. Fun fact, I had a college friend who hooked up with this girl named Shasta, which is like, what are the odds that Shasta. I've heard that word twice in my
Where
life.
was she from?
I don't know, man. This is we were
it's an
19 years
interesting
old.
name. Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
probably it sounds Eastern European.
Yeah.
Cold climate.
Shasta Lake, beautiful.
She probably lives with her mother and they make bread. What else? What else would a Shasta do?
Or
Her nana,
something.
yeah, she wears a babushka?
Yeah. She's like Russian or German, maybe?
Or German?
I don't know.
That's not even connects. Bosnian, Hungarian, Slavic of some
Sure.
sort. Anyway, Shasta Lake, check it out. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
So driving there, we broke it up, right? Because we're like, 15 hours, that's ridiculous. We're going to go 10 hours and 5 hours. Also, we left on a Sunday, right?
Oh, yeah. So we did 10 hours the first day.
We have jobs, FYI. So we left on a Sunday.
Yeah. So
Like responsible adults.
we did 10 hours that day
Yeah.
to Medford, Oregon.
Yeah.
And then it was like the next day we were only 4 hours away. So it was either like, let's get up super early, drive to Oregon, then start our work day.
Right.
Or do we want to break it up? Like get up early, work to noon, drive the 4 hours, keep working.
Yeah, because you got to check out by 11, right? So we're
Right.
technically our jobs at the time still technically start at 10 a.m. So we're like, okay, we have calls starting.
And we're on the West Coast.
Yes. Well,
Oh, that makes it worse.
my company is West Coast. Yours at the time was East Coast.
Yeah.
So it's 7 a.m. Right?
Yeah, but I got really lucky, and that was like the easiest month for my job.
Yeah, it was because you were starting out. They were figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we first stopped in Medford, and
Great little city.
I fucking loved it.
You did. You wanted to move there and open up a chain. It's where I learned that you won't have like this weird fascination of like opening up a chain
A
restaurant.
franchise.
A
I feel
franchise.
like,
There we go.
I feel like it's like if you, it's almost like a landlord in that way of like it's just like a Taco Bell. Of course, people are gonna eat at one. Just buy one. And
I think we've talked about it, but what would be the franchise? Number one.
Ooh, I mean, if I could either a Subway, because I've learned that I'm not going to tell you all my secrets, or Chick-fil-A is apparently the most profitable.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to Medford, Oregon, I don't know. I would have to go up there again. But
they had every single fast food option you could think of. That was insane. Like within a 2-mile radius, I
feel like over our travels, when you go to small cities, that is the only thing that's there.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as local. It's all chains.
Right. But then in big cities, it's all
only local and
yeah.
there's chains on the outskirts, right?
Yeah.
So we stopped at Medford first. The first biggest thing was, you remember how we had to get gas. And so we pull up to a gas station and I just see a guy, like just a dude walking up to our car, but he's in a uniform. I'm like, oh, Jesus. It's like, what? Do we have no air in our... Yeah, right. You're like, who's this person walking up to my car? So you roll down the window and you're like, what's up, man? How's it going? He's like, what kind of gas do you want? And you're like, oh, I'm good, man. Because you think he's like a homeless guy or something.
Yeah,
you're like, I thought you were going to wash my windshield, man. He's like, no, I'm going to punch your gas. And you're like, oh, I guess unleaded? And then you're like, oh.
Why?
Yeah, right.
But I've lived in New Jersey, so I was like weirded out, but not too much. Like I was like, oh yeah, they do that in New Jersey.
Right.
And then you found out.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I looked it up because it weirded me. Yeah, because it was weird. Because there was that one time we just thought maybe it was the gas station at first initially, right? We're like, oh, maybe it's just this quick stop.
Yeah.
With a K or whatever.
I thought it was cold places because I remember one of the last times I came to New Jersey, it was like freezing and they did it. So I was like, oh, maybe that's why.
No, I actually looked it up. So apparently it was like it was like a lawsuit forever ago where someone got hurt and then they go, okay.
Because it was freezing? I don't know.
It wasn't a temperature thing.
Okay.
Like someone, I wish I knew, but I don't. Look it up, y'all, if you really want to know. But Oregon and New Jersey are the only two states in all of America. I do know that now forever because it was like the next place. I was like, I'm not going to wait for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to get out and just do this shit. And they yelled at me. They're like, get the fuck back in your car. Because it is a law. Like, it's a law. It's like, you don't, as a consumer, you sit in your car and they fill you up your gas and you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. So we learned that.
Interesting.
Oregon rule.
Yes. Everyone in Medford was very nice. Very, very nice. We do know Oregon apparently is Oregon in general is very conservative, so we're not necessarily a color. We can fly under that radar. So I don't know if we weren't.
But I do have an accent.
She does. So. Yeah. But she's riding with this kind of dirty blonde guy.
Yeah.
So she gets that pass, I guess.
I get it.
But they were very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah, is that where this lady just gave us her entire bottle of hand sanitizer?
Yeah, oh my God.
Because we needed some.
Yeah, that's right.
We were like, do you sell any hand sanitizer?
I know the scent. I still got it in my car. Yeah, because we were, no, that was Alabama. So we stopped at Medford first, and then we were driving in. You had a couple of calls. We get to our Airbnb, which was great. So when we first were looking for Airbnbs, we narrowed it down to two options, right? One
Division Street, right?
Division Street was what we chose, but there was another one, and the biggest difference was one was smaller but had like a full kitchen, or the other was way bigger, but it didn't have like a kitchen. All it had would be like a coffee pot, a water boiler, and
mini fridge. Not super mini, but not a full fridge.
No, right, not a full fridge.
Like
and like a toaster. But it was way bigger, right?
Yeah.
When I first moved to LA, I didn't have a kitchen. I had exactly this. I know we can live fine off that, right?
I'm like, what are we camping?
Right. Yeah. I mean, kind of. I was like, it's not gas. I was like, have you ever heard of a hot plate? Which a lot of people haven't ever heard of that.
I mean, I had seen them, but again, only for camping.
But it makes sense.
Like,
it plugs in a wall though, so that doesn't make sense.
Well, they have it for the outdoors.
Right. It's usually gas powered.
Right.
Which you don't want to do that indoors.
No, definitely
probably. Not. So, all right. So we basically go. We'll take the space because I know how to. We know how to jimmy a bootleg kitchen. I know how to do it. Yeah. I'm like, all I need is a hot plate, which I mean, it's easy. They're like $20 on Amazon.
And then we bought some pans and pots.
We had to buy. Well, so before that though, we bought the hot plate.
Her,
right.
The host.
Yes. So
we messaged our host. Not gonna say her name, or should I?
She was great. We gave her 5 stars. Nancy was awesome.
Nancy.
Yeah.
So we messaged her. I don't know. It's our first one, right? Our first month. So I think we had a lot of questions like laundry, cooking, etc.
Cleaning.
Like, we're bringing a hot plate. Do you have any pots and pans, plates, like stuff like that?
Right.
And from what I remember, she replied very like nicely to all the other questions, and then was like, absolutely no hot plates. Like, there's no ventilation. You're in a basement, but we can clearly see a bunch of windows in this basement, which is why we chose it. And then we were like, well, what do we do? Like, does she really expect us to eat microwavable food or eat out for an entire month?
Right.
Or like, because she said you can't bring that, but you have a microwave and a toaster. And I'm like, what does that get us?
Not far.
No.
We're not in college.
No. So then I remember we started asking our friends. You called your parents.
Yeah.
Your parents obviously were like, don't.
They're terrified.
You're gonna
don't
get
call
in
old
trouble.
people. Yeah. they're not going to take a risk.
And I'm like, what were our friends saying? Was it half and half? Or was it like, do it? Don't tell her. Because we were like, we're not going to tell her. We're just going to bring the hot plate now, you know?
Right. Because it was like, basically she left it with like, she was very nice about it. She was just like, there's no ventilation. And so if this is a deal breaker, let me know and I'll cancel and you'll get your full refund.
But this was 2 days before.
Was it 2 days?
Okay, maybe 3 days.
It was really close.
And I'm like, we're not going to find a place for a month in like a great location for a good price. It's not going to happen.
No, it was...
Like, we're either lying or we're eating microwave food and toasted bread. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't even like bread. That was a deal breaker for sure.
No, it was so insane that it was like our first one. And of course, it was like 3 days before we're starting this journey. And she was like... If it's a deal breaker, let me know. And we're like, dude, we can't just figure this out right now.
Yeah.
We spent a month to find this place.
We're like, thank you.
So we ultimately we talked to a lot of friends, and it was one of those things where it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Long story short, so we were like, no, it's fine, whatever. And
We'll
guess
make
what?
do.
The whole time it was not a big deal.
But it was funny when we would like cook bacon. We would
we're like,
play music.
Yeah. Because we knew it was noisy. We were like, bacon, FYI, this is what we learned. Out of everything you cook,
Hot tip.
bacon is the loudest thing. Because we tested it in LA, remember? We were like, and it was like, because bacon pops. Oh, and also it's the most aromatic. And we're like,
gonna smell it.
Oh, it's so good. And we knew she was gonna be like, what? Or her dog. She had a dog, and we're like, that dog's gonna be just like licking our door, trying to get in.
But definitely the first few days, we like got a bunch of soups and salads. We were like, let's test it out slowly. But everything was totally fine.
Yeah.
I was also very anti basements until I went there, and then I was like, oh my god, it's like the entire house just a little under. But that one had so many windows. Like, I'm all about natural light.
It had 2 windows, but
no,
we're in New York, so she's really thinking. Compared to New York, it was a lot.
I just felt like it wasn't too dark.
But remember, we also borrowed your roommate's Instapot. Shout out Instapot.
Shout out Ale.
Yeah. Her roommate. That thing I also say
that definitely helped, and we've wanted to use it ever since. But there we use it like at least twice a week. I feel like that thing does everything.
But I guess the biggest thing too we learned, it was like, even it's not listed and all that stuff, is like, don't ask necessarily, because that puts you in a position that you have to lie later.
Right. Say sorry.
Right. This is manipulative behavior we're teaching y'all. This is how you fucking play the game, I guess. But either way, it was fine. She was great. She never ever was mad at us about any of that stuff. So that was the first big hurdle. Right. Excuse me.
But then the place was great. And then we're in Portland. And I remember our first day, we're walking around and it's raining because it's Portland, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, nobody has an umbrella. Only we do.
Right. We have an umbrella and it's not pouring, but it's drizzling hard.
Yeah, like consistently, and it's cold.
Yeah,
like
it's chilly.
This is end of February. It's definitely still winter.
Yeah.
Nobody has an umbrella.
Nobody.
Literally only us. And we're like...
It was the weirdest thing to be like, everyone should have this, but no one has this. And I feel like I'm sticking out by having this.
No, we totally did. It was like, not exaggerating, no one else had one.
No one.
And then we saw our friends later that weekend, and we asked them, and they confirmed it. They were like, yeah, no.
Like, oh, you had an umbrella? What are you, a nerd? And we're like, what?
Just
a smart to cover ourselves from, what the
I was saying people should have like those umbrella hats. Like, that's how much it rains there.
Those are dorky, but yeah.
Of course, but
if we're going to talk about Portland as a great city as it is, it literally is. All right, imagine like band kids. Okay, imagine those band kids grew up and then they just started a city. That's Portland. Honestly,
it definitely fit the flannel beanie stereotype, like 100%.
Yeah, it did. Everyone wore flannels, right? Yeah, you spent.
Like, I didn't even know there was that many combination of flannel colors.
Right. Yeah, right.
Like, how have I not seen the same one? They're all wearing a different one.
Yeah. And you spent like a week, I feel like, before we even went there to find a flannel.
Oh, I wanted my first flannel. I was going to Portland. You know, I gotta get my outfit for the city.
She already knew. Yeah.
Just like for Austin, I wanted a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Cowgirl, whatever.
You had to. Yeah,
flannels.
It was interesting. Yeah. So first off, no umbrellas. So we immediately never had an umbrella.
Never had it again.
No, because we're
trying to fit in.
We're cool.
We also again remember we're trying to not be on vacation. We're trying to live there.
Right.
Like, we want to be locals. We want to fit in. We don't know shit about what's going on, so we're just like faking it till we make it.
Right off the bat. Oh, what was the first thing we did? We went to we were like, do we need groceries?
Of course, every place. But we said, guys, cook. You know? As many meals as you can.
Yes, cook. Just because it's fun, and it's also will save you so much money.
You can eat out on the weekends. That's like your vacation time. But Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, just like get some groceries.
Yeah, or get 2 meals out of it, whatever. Like that is like the easiest way to save money.
At least like breakfast.
That can save you $50
Easily.
In 4 days, right?
Yeah. So we went to Freddy's, was the local grocery store.
Fred
Our
Meyer's.
favorite.
So we went to, it's called Fred Meyer's, and it's just insane. It has everything you could ever want. It has clothes. It sells tires. It sells caskets. It sells all the food you need.
Home decor, all the food, all
sells
the
everything.
wine.
Everything.
It's so big.
And it's
also
called Fred Meyer's.
super affordable.
Yeah. Which is, it's owned by Kroger, I guess.
Yeah.
They're all owned by the same thing. But anyway, so I was texting my friend. I was like, "Jesus Christ, have you been?" I mean, of course you've been to
Fred Meyers.
Fred Meyers. He goes, "Oh, you talking about Freddy's?"
Freddy's.
Boom. So if you ever go to Portland, it's called Freddy's. I'm letting you on.
We started a list of all the grocery stores and like the name because it's like funny when we get to a place you have to literally just look at groceries around us. Like you don't know what it's called.
Right.
Like we're from the Southeast, we got Publix, right?
Kroger.
Yeah, I don't think Miami has Kroger.
They should, because it's cheaper.
We have like Publix, Winn-Dixie.
Winn-Dixie. Anyway, and then you go to California and Los Angeles. Ralph's. It's called Ralph's, right? But everywhere we go, it is a fun fact that everywhere we go, they're different. Like you're like, where do I go to get groceries?
Yeah, I have no idea. Also, it's like sometimes you get sent to the Whole Foods of that place, and it's like, oh, this is not what I wanted.
Is this an expensive city, or is this just
or is it an expensive grocery store?
Right. But what we did learn is every single place has like a wholesome name for that grocery store.
Oh, yeah, or like a human name almost.
Well,
right?
human, but it's like but it's like a good old fashioned, like just approachable, feels good name. So it's like Fred Meyer's or Randall's or Ralph's or like what I don't know. There's a million of them, and they're all this. It is funny that they're all a name and they're all just approachable. Like there's no one who can get mad at it.
But that's again another little thing that you learn as you're doing this. Like, we just want to type in like our usual grocery store and then it's like, oh, that doesn't exist here. What is it called?
Right.
So our first week we're getting groceries. We're walking around. No umbrellas. We also learned, again, everyone is really nice. So as we're walking, it's like your typical movie scene of like the neighbor waving at you.
Everyone waves.
And I've never experienced that. Again, I live in Miami. If you guys have been to Miami, I mean, I love it. It's my favorite place ever. But they are not that nice. Like no one would ever wave at you.
Yeah, or LA.
And we live in LA at that point. Again, no one is gonna wave at you.
Atlanta, you get a head nod, which is cool, but
this is the literal movie scene. Like,
no, absolutely, yeah, like a sitcom, like 100, like for real.
We were so weirded out the first few days.
Just radiating, like radiance of niceness.
Yeah,
and you're like, I don't know how to accept this.
Also, you feel so rude because it's like we don't ever start it.
I don't even know how to wave. I learned how to wave. It was like my wrist. I didn't know. I was like, is it out or in? I can't. Do I show them my palm or is it the other way? Everyone was so nice. That's fundamentally what Oregon taught me. Is everyone there, at least in the Medford and Portland.
I still think, I don't know about you, I think it still was the nicest place we've gone to in the U.S.
It could be, to be honest.
Yeah. Like everyone was just wholesome, like you're saying. Like, so nice, so respectful. Also, think about it, this was a year ago, which means a year after COVID. There was no vaccines yet.
None.
Like it is still COVID. People are more down to go outside and do stuff, but like you're definitely not going to bars, you're not doing anything crazy, there's no vaccines, right? Mm-hmm. So it was also, I feel like, the best first city.
Yeah. No, in terms of like, because we're both like, we play by the rules. I mean, we listen to science. Like, I don't know. It's not like we're like nuts or anything, but we also,
And you also had to go back to your parents in Atlanta.
Yes, I live with, older. Right.
So.
I'm not trying to, kill my parents on accident. But one thing is definitely out of everywhere. So it's like, one thing we learned, especially with COVID really showed like the difference. Like I feel like it really showed because it like heightened the extremes of things, right? And one thing that we will say is like, at least with Portland, everyone was on the same page.
Yeah.
In terms of like everyone, I don't know, there's a consistency there. in some ways.
Yeah, it was like if you're walking down the street, they're gonna cross the street to not be on your same side. They're still gonna wave at you. It's again like a really nice
air
like,
hug.
Hi.
Little
but
everything's air.
They're like, we're gonna stay more than 6 feet apart. Like it is all safe over here. Also, of course, we didn't have like a crazy nightlife, but again, does Portland have a crazy nightlife?
No, it doesn't. No.
It's like the perfect like.
Fun fact, they don't. So
Fun fact.
After COVID, probably is not. If you're single, I remember thinking, I was like, if I'm single and ready to mingle as a dude, this would not be a fun city. But as a guy with a girlfriend in a pandemic trying to like just hit up dive bars,
A great
Portland
city.
was amazing because also. So, I mean, we'd walk around a lot. Everyone there no one was above, like, I would say 35.
No.
Everyone was 35 under. It was like, no, but it was like, but it'd be, when I say under, I mean 35 to 30.
Yeah. Very settled down
Yes,
vibes,
but like
you know?
young, settled down.
Yeah.
Because everyone had literally the classic movie stroller. Like that,
Yes.
and they had a little newborn.
Or maybe a toddler. There was not a 5-year-old anywhere, I feel like. Because again, young parents.
Yes.
They were all like really little kids.
Little babies.
Yeah,
toddlers maybe,
babies,
but they
toddlers.
can't walk. They can't talk.
And if they didn't have a human baby,
They had a puppy.
dog
Or
baby.
a dog, baby. They were dog parents, for sure.
It also was so common that it was like weird that we weren't holding anything.
Yes,
You know, it's
right.
like we don't have a dog or a kid.
We looked so young, kind of, compared to them.
Just holding each other's
We just
hands.
were holding a joint. And they were holding a baby.
Yeah.
And we're like, ah.
Different vibes.
And they were also holding a joint. It was great. And that baby was holding a joint. It was nuts, man.
Portland.
They're cool, bro. Keep it weird, yo.
Yeah, another thing, if they weren't taken, we have to admit, they weren't the cutest people,
Oh my
right?
god. So here's the thing. Portland people.
Kids,
Portland
you
people,
know?
nice but ugly. I don't mean me. And this is where I go.
And kids, and they don't have umbrellas. Their hair is a mess.
But they don't care.
Nobody had their hair in a, like, it didn't look good.
It
was
was
a frizzy hot
because
mess.
it just rains. They don't
Of
care.
course.
It's the way I feel like
They're just drinking IPAs.
yes, just pounding IPAs, just eating bread.
But so nice.
So nice.
It just definitely was not an attractive city.
So
you know, like you go to cities and you're like, damn, everyone's like really good looking.
Like Miami
here.
or LA, right?
Yeah.
You
Or
know-
Austin. Like we were
Austin.
like, damn, everyone's really fit here. Portland, we were like, wow, everyone's like,
Yeah. Everyone, I
but
think
so nice.
it carries up to the Pacific Northwest because Ted Bundy's from Seattle, and everyone
loved him.
everyone was like, he's so attractive.
that's-
And the motherfucker had a unibrow. Anyway, the people there, very nice, very wholesome.
They're
but
nicest.
Also but they're all young parents. I feel like young parents at a certain point, you just kind of like, I don't
Let
have
yourself
time.
go.
Yeah, why, whatever.
Yeah, and you literally don't have time. But no, I tell everyone, I would 100% tell you to go to
Visit
Portland,
it.
Oregon. It was
If
awesome.
you're not single trying to mingle. Because if you are, then don't go there. I don't know. That would be the biggest thing I'd say.
Okay, so what's like a surprisingly happy, good thing we learned about it?
Their food was amazing.
Yeah, and nobody believes us. But we have admitted, I think it's because we were very lucky, and one of my closest friends gave us like a whole list, a whole Google Maps, like imported into your phone
Yeah, it was amazing.
with like every place you could think of, and then their description of the place.
Incredible. It was like a personal Yelp. But
A personal Yelp. I love that.
even with that, I will say none of the restaurants missed.
No.
They were all amazing. Like every
We had
single one.
amazing Indian food, Greek,
Yes,
Thai.
yes.
We had a sushi. I had a deep fried
Sushi-rito.
susharito that I
Jambalaya.
like still think about. Jambalaya.
Fucking delirium.
Ugh, that was great.
Cartopias.
Oh yeah, they love food. What are those called?
Cartopias. They're basically
No, that's just the name of that place.
right, but they're basically like imagine like a mall food court, but it's outdoors. Because they're all like little, and they're all like local. They're not like chains, right?
Not at all. They don't like that.
No. Well,
Not
good.
in
I mean,
Portland.
whatever. It was so good. Yeah, so they're all like outdoors. which we went to. It was just pouring the rain. We were eating delicious pizza and wings, I think, that one night. Remember that? It was just raining on us. And I was like, what are they doing? I'm like, whatever. As long as my seat's dry. We don't have no umbrellas. We fit it in. I was like, I'm more Portland than y'all. PDX all day, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like an outdoor food hall with food trucks.
Yeah.
But they have so many of those in like a bunch of different areas.
And we could walk to them. And
I feel like that's what made us really into that. Like, I think we had both done it, but that made us be like, let's get Indian food with pizza. You know, like something you would never think of.
Yeah, that's right. I think the craziest we did jambalaya with sushirito.
Oh.
Just because.
That sushirito. Remember, that was like one of the places we went back to. So we came up with this rule in Portland that we followed through on every place. We tried not to repeat until the last weekend, right? Like, we should be trying new places every week.
Yeah.
So the last weekend, it's like, all right, we can repeat our favorites.
Right.
And the sushirito was like, because you had ordered like a traditional sushirito, I got the deep fried. Because
so much better.
I love hot food. I don't like cold sushi.
Yeah.
Only like hot sushi, like tempura.
Yeah, it is good. That was an amazing sushirito. So the food was amazing. So another thing about the city too, I will say that's ironic, is they're super progressive. Obviously, I think that's the media definitely shows that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're very they're very BLM. Ironically, not a lot of bees. Like none.
Well, it was like funny because what did every single person ask us when we told them we were going to Portland we just went to Portland?
They all thought.
And even still, like a year later, I feel like they're like,
protests.
Oh my God, how are the protests?
Protesting,
like,
Bugaloo boys.
What? They were the nicest, chillest people ever.
Yeah.
There was no protest. There was no danger.
I think that was like initially when we learned that it's like, the perception of things is not true. Yeah, I know when I said that. The media. Honestly, it's just like how it really explodes a minute detail of a thing, and then just sort of like people are attracted to this idea as a viewer, and they're gonna keep pushing on that. So it's like a ton of. Like I said, I mean, it's pretty white. It's white as shit. What am I trying to say?
Very.
Yeah. And very nice people, very progressive, very open. Well, I'm not against, I'm not against Portland people. Like, I know everyone hates them.
No, they're great.
But we walked around a lot at night, and it was the safest I've ever felt my whole life.
Safest.
Also,
I never thought I would get raped or sex trafficked.
Yeah, by what, a band camp kid? Like, what is
never
that?
in Portland.
You can be all right. You can be all right because they're nice. They're gonna wave to you while they're doing it.
They're like, "Hi."
Hey, what's up? Yeah, you're like, oh, he waved to me though. What a nice guy. But also, we never saw cops ever.
No.
Never. And
we walked a lot.
We saw like maybe 2 cops the whole time we were there. And then we were talking to my coworker I think he still lives there. And what did he say? It was something about like
they got
their budget cut.
Yeah, not kind of like defund the police actually happened in Portland, right? So it's like they lost a lot of their budget and lost a lot of their cops. Like their personnel got super minimized, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was literally a fact as to why we weren't seeing any cops. But it was just so interesting because we're coming into it as like everyone else, right? Like we're like, BLM protests, and there's probably so many cops. And then we were there for a month, and we're like, we maybe saw 2 cops. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But they didn't need it. It was also a perfect example. Gosh, we're going to be labeled as the most liberal podcast, but I love it. But, like, it literally showed you don't need it.
Well,
if everyone's...
You didn't need it if you're Portland. Right. Yeah. No, that's all I'll say. I was like, one of those things where it was like, it's a neighborhood. It's just a neighborhood. So you don't need it.
Yeah, every street feels like a neighborhood.
Meanwhile, in LA, it's like, maybe we should beef it up a little more. So that's why it's such a weird thing. This is where you'll see a constant theme of at least how I talk and her too. It's like, it is like our country is massive. It is so big. And there's reasons we all are very diverse and think differently. But ultimately, we're all fucking stupid, and we're all the same stupid thing. We all.
With that, should we wrap it up with the highs and lows of our trip?
Sure. So you go first.
Okay. My high. I would say beautiful nature was a big high. Low. Maybe it is lack of nightlife, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it is, like, very chill, very, like, let's go to the bar and talk, which is cool. But I don't know if I could necessarily live... I don't know. I'm in my 20s. I still want a little more.
Sure.
I don't know if that's even a low.
I like that. Okay. The high would be... maybe it's a two-parter, I guess. It's the food is amazing.
Yeah.
Best food I've had.
Nobody believes us.
No one does.
Come on, go to Portland. We'll give you the Google Map list.
Everyone thinks their city's the best. I'm going to tell you right now, Portland it killed it. Austin, there's a lot of places that are pretty good, but it's like Portland just traditionally killed it. Okay, I like that. And
this is where people say, not to cut you off, if I get 500 followers, I'll drop the Google list, you know?
Yeah, but we're not those people.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We'll drop the
We're
Google
not there
list.
yet. Yeah. Get us there. Maybe we will. I don't know. And it's really our friends who made that list, but we'll do it.
It's ours now.
So food and nature, definitely. Definitely top parts of Portland. The negative is... Like I said, if I wasn't in a relationship and going through COVID, the terms of the chillness of it probably would have really made me. I would have been like, all right, I can't do this because I'm a wild guy. So,
but if you're there for a weekend, that wouldn't necessarily apply. But no, that's a great.
Well, if you're there for a weekend with the bros,
oh yeah, with the bros.
You're not trying to do that, or with the girls, like no, man, you're trying to fuck some like 33-year-old dad, like
have some IPAs
who's
and
like just got a mustache and a flannel. No, you're not trying to do that. Like if you're trying to have fun in that way, that's probably not the city. But if you're just like if you're locked down, just trying to like, it's like if you like board games, you would love Portland. That's I would say, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, I don't want to diss it. We loved Portland.
No, we're not. We're dissing it, but we're not dissing it.
Right.
It's only a diss if
you think it is.
Which is fine. It's interpretation. That's what we're getting at.
No, those are accurate for sure. Next time we'll get a little more specific. We'll think about it some more.
Yeah.
But these are good, vague, high and low.
Absolutely. Also, our Uber's coming, so we got to go, y'all. But we love y'all. Thank y'all for listening, and we'll see you next episode. Peace.
Cheers.